Lovely day, YCC 2020, the power of youth. I think you've been energized over these last 7 days, action-packed panels that have been so perfect to the understanding of your futures, your careers, and giving you an opportunity to be a part of sharing of knowledge, of learning, of being able to focus on life, on your career and your futures. I think it's been a lovely, lovely walk up till here. And this morning, we bring to you some wisdom shots. And what better wisdom shots than from Mr. Srijit Krishnan, a life coach and a seasoned facilitator. He's an educator, he's inspired, he's transformed thousands of people from different walks of life. And he believes that his workshops and seminars are engaging sessions that typically bring new flavor to life and living. Srijit has more than 16 years of industry experience in different HR positions, in leading corporations, and he focuses on behavioral skills. He focuses on how behavioral skills can be bettered, fine-tuned in different forms of your work life and your personal life. And he's committed to provide you the best tools, strategies, and resources to help you take your life to the next level. So Srijit's Wisdom Shots is a heavily followed YouTube channel. Please do log in, do register. It's designed with a purpose, and his mission is to educate, inspire, and transform people by sharing strategies, tools, and best resources to make a meaning in your life. He has over 1,14,509 views of his wisdom shots and close to about 8,000 inspired subscribers. So do join me in welcoming Former Hearts Srijit for his wisdom shots this morning. Over to you, Srijit. Thank you so much.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so excited, happy to be with you all here today. So as he said, probably I'll share a couple of stories with you, and stories actually like move people. We retain stories than other informations. So I'll connect to the theme with a couple of stories which are close to my heart. All right. So I'll start with this story. This is called The Secret of Success. Okay. So we all know Socrates, right? So one boy went to Socrates and asked this question. The question was, what's the secret of success? So Socrates was not ready to give an answer immediately. He said, okay, boy, just come to a particular place the next day. So the boy was, very excited. Okay, he's going to share the secret of success. So I'm going to get like some real wisdom, from the man himself, Socrates, right? So he got up in the morning. He went to that place at that particular time. And there was a river there nearby. And when they reached near the river, so Socrates, asked this boy to walk towards water, and he also walked with him. They started walking, and when they reached, somewhere near, like the water level was almost neck level, Socrates pushed him down into water. So he was underwater for a minute or so. And then he pulled him up and asked, like, what do you want? So the boy is like, I'm breathless, I need breath, right? I'm going to die. So Socrates said, if you want something in life as bad as breath, when you are underwater, you will get that. And that's the secret of success. So basically what this, this story is trying to tell us is, and we have a lot of wishes, right? A lot of desires, a lot of ambitions, a lot of aspirations. Everybody has that. But if you look at successful people, if you look at people who are making it, they all have a strong obsession towards what they want to achieve. They're so passionate about, what they want to do. It's not like, I wish I get this, I wish, I do this. I mean, that's everybody has, and that will not give you the motivation to take action. And there is a difference between knowing and doing, right? So we all know a lot of things. So everybody knows, we have to get up early in the morning. Everybody knows that we have to do physical exercise. Everybody knows that we should not eat junk food, right? This is there, information is there. In fact, we are like, overloaded with information, but starving for wisdom. So it's not about knowing, it's about taking action. And if you want to take action, there should be a motivation, right? It's all connected. And that motivation is your reason, your strong why. So if you have a strong why to do something, right? The why factor. There is a book called Start with Why. I highly recommend to read that book from Simon Sinek, Start with Why. It's about business and also about people. So he says all the people, all the organizations, all the companies who have achieved significant things, they all had a strong why, a strong reason, or the other word is strong purpose. So I just want to, think about it. So whatever is your goal, whatever is your ambition, whatever is your, whatever you want to do in life, do you have that kind of, strong reason? It should be a burning desire. It's not just a desire. I mean, you will die if you don't get that, right? That kind of a thing. So if you have that kind of desire, that will stretch you, right, to stay late in the night. In fact, like, I slept yesterday at what, some 2:30 a.m. and I'm awake, today at 6:30 a.m. It's not because, it's easy to do. It's because I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, right? So when you're so passionate about something, when you have stronger desires, stronger goals, and for greater good, right, that gives you a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And that's the secret, what Socrates was saying, the burning desire. It's like, I will die if I don't get it, right? So that's the first story. So I just want to connect with this. I want you to think about your purpose, your why, what is your reason, what is your motivation to take action. Think about it, reflect on it, and align your life, align your goals with something you are inclined towards, right? So don't do it for the sake of someone else, or for your parents or your teachers, or because your friends are doing, so let me start doing this, right? So if you have those kind of thought processes, it will not give you enough motivation to take action. So it should be something which is close to your heart, right? You have to listen to your heart, right, and take action. And then you should have a burning desire to achieve that. So it gives a lot of energy. My second story is about, you may have heard of this. It's a real story, right? It's about Roger Bannister. He's an athlete, he's a runner. So till 1953, the belief system, everybody in this world, okay, everybody had this thought process that, not thought process, the belief that nobody can run a mile. Mile in the US terms, it's still more than a kilometer, a mile in less than 4 minutes, right? So even the best athletes in the world, right, the record holders, their records were like some 4 minutes, some, seconds and things like that. Nobody ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. So Roger Bannister, he was a student. He was a student in Oxford University. He was a, regular athlete, runner and things like that. But he thought, okay, can I break this world record? Can I do something about it? Because we want to do something extraordinary. So what he did, like any other, normal athlete, he started practicing. Every day he started practicing, eating right food and things like that. And one more thing he did differently was, he did something called visualization, right? Visualization is basically seeing it in your mind, right? If I wanted to ask you to close your eyes and think about something, you can see it, right, without your eyes open. So that's visualization. So he started visualizing breaking that record, breaking that barrier, running a mile in less than 4 minutes. He see it over and over again in his mind. And plus he did something called affirmation, right? Telling positive statements to himself. that you can do it, those kind of things. In psychology, it's called auto-suggestion. So he did all those things. And in 1953, I think May 5th or something, the date. So he actually broke the record, right? He ran a mile in 3 minutes, 59 seconds or something, some 3.58 or something like that. He basically broke the record. So the story is not about breaking the record. The story is not about his visualization. The interesting part of this particular story is within 3 months after he broke that record, 27 more people actually ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. In 2 years, more than 200 people actually ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. Today, most high school kids, who are into sports can actually run a mile in less than 4 minutes. But till 1953, it was an impossible dream. Because when he broke the record, it became a newspaper headline that he did something impossible, because doctors said those days your heart will come out if you run faster than whatever the pace, recorded pace, or physics, those scientists said that our body is not designed to run as fast as less than 4 minutes. So a lot of people actually told that it's impossible. But when he broke the record, he actually kind of changed the mindset of thousands of people. So our mindset, our belief system plays a very, very important role with respect to your success. So if you believe that something is possible, it's possible. If you believe that you can't do something, you will not be able to do it. So it all starts with your mindset and your belief system. And when you see something is possible, that gives a lot of signals to your brain and nervous system, to take action, to make it happen. So I want you to just think about your belief systems, your self-limiting belief systems. So what is stopping you from getting what you want? And the best strategy is to model people, observe people who are successful. So I strongly believe if it is possible for someone, if it is possible for a human being, and it's a matter of time, if you put the right effort, if you have the right strategy, and if you improve your skill, it's possible for us. Maybe it depends on the goal, you may have to work hard, but it's possible. And when you change your mindset, right, when you change your belief system, so basically if you look at people, so I used to interview a lot of people in my first job as a recruiter. So a lot of people, they have the skills, they have the talent, they have the potential. But when it comes to interviews, when it comes to communicating, right, their skill, they fail. And the reason why they don't do a good job is because, somewhere inside, a lot of people have this, like an inferiority complex that I'm not good enough. And if you have this particular thought process that I'm not good enough, that will show up in all your relationship. It will show up in your career. It will show up when you interact with people. And this, I'm not good enough belief system came from your past conditioning. Your school, your college, your parents, your teachers, your friends. They have all conditioned you. It's like the elephant story. That elephant story. One more story. Okay, what's the time? I have time. Okay, so the elephant story is a pretty famous story. You know that, right? So elephant story is like, the people who tame elephants, right? They capture this elephant when it's small, and they tie this elephant with a strong chain. So elephant is small, a baby elephant, right, to 1 year or whatever, and they tie this with a strong chain. And baby elephants, they didn't have any other conditioning, so they tries to break the chain. So it'll try hard to break the chain, but doesn't. So it'll try for 1 year, 2 years, and then it'll give up. Interesting thing is, when this elephant, it grows, double the size, triple the size, and after 10 years, they use the same chain. Actually, after 10 years, the elephant, it has the potential to break the chain, but it doesn't. Why? Because elephant believes this is unbreakable. So we are like that. In the past, maybe in your 5th standard or, in your 8th standard, somebody told you that you're not good in something and you believed and it went to your subconscious. And today you actually have the potential to change your behavior or to do something else. But because it is so deep inside you, you don't even try, right? Seriously. There are a lot of, this, you can relate to a lot of things. So when you look at your career, when you look at what you want to do in life, model successful people in your field, right? Who are really doing, it can be even your seniors in your college, who are really doing what you want to do. And then write down all the attributes of those people with respect to their personality, their communication skills, their technical skills. And what is that they have, which I don't have? And start asking yourself, where am I, say on a scale of 1 to 10, where do I stand, right? Am I a 5 or a 6? So what is that it takes to move from 5 to 6, right? And most often, what stops you from getting the result you really want will be a belief system. So you have this belief that I can't do this because he's lucky, or he's better than me, or he had some other advantages. That's why where he is, or he or she is. But I am from a poor family. I didn't go to a good school. Like my family is like this. I mean, you have all this negative self-talk with yourself, and that stops you from getting what you want. So I want you to be a Roger Bannister, right? So challenge your belief systems, not only your belief system, even belief system of the world. So do something different, right? So as human beings, we all have unlimited potential, right? So this is my second story. So believe in yourself, do something extraordinary. My third story is, what's the time? Okay, I have 10 more minutes. Is about Picasso, the great painter, right? So one lady in marketplace, she saw Picasso, and she was a great fan of his work. So she went near him and said, like, Picasso, I'm a great fan of your work. Can you give me a picture of some autograph, or it'll be great if you can even give me a small drawing from your side. And she handed over a paper to him. Picasso looked at her. He said, okay. So he took the paper. He had a brush of whatever paint, and he did something, right, very fast. And he handed over to her. And she's like, oh, my dear Picasso, this is a masterpiece. I'm so glad. I'm so excited that you gave something like this. Thank you so much. All right. This was her response. And Picasso said, yeah, that's cool. That's great. But my dear lady, this will cost you $1 million. And she's like, $1 million? You just took 30 seconds to do this. So Picasso will reply, he'll say, my dear, it took 30 years to do this in 30 seconds. When you see overnight success, when you see people who are really enjoying, the limelight, and we think that they're lucky, or they're like blessed, or they got some extra gene advantage and things like that. But what we have not seen is the amount of work, the amount of hard work, the amount of midnight oil they burned to reach wherever they are. There's a saying, if you really want to succeed in public life, right? So you have to do like a lot of things in your private life, right? Nobody sees that private life. So private life is basically the kind of work, the kind of time you spend in developing your craft. There's no shortcut. There's no free lunch, right? If somebody offer you that, it will not last. You have to pay the price. And paying the price, and I can challenge you, you read any biographies of anybody, or, when you see Sachin Tendulkar, when you see A.R. Rahman, they're like, it's okay, they're blessed. But if you read their biographies, right, you'll see like they started at a young age and they spent hours improving their craft. In this book called Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell, he says, when you see people in genius level, right, any genius in any field, whether it's sports, music, art, anywhere, most of them have spent more than 10,000 hours improving, developing their craft. So this 10,000 hours is a magic number they came up with after doing research on thousands of people who are outliers in their own field. So what is this 10,000 hours? 10,000 hours is identifying your field, identifying your domain, and investing a tremendous amount of time in learning about it, developing your skill, right? Improving your craft. So you have to be a real subject matter expert, and it takes time. So don't be a master of, all trade. And so this jack of all trade, master of none, right? So don't be that. So, expertise, that's what we want. So you have to find your area, find your domain, and spend hours and hours. It takes time. This is like that, the Chinese bamboo tree. The story of Chinese bamboo tree. So Chinese bamboo tree, when it started growing, the first, when in the soil, okay, in the first 5 years, it will not grow more than 1 feet or 2 feet tall, 2 to 3 feet. But after 5 or 6 years, it will go to 70 feet, 80 feet, it's tallest plant in the world. So people will wonder, right, 5 years you wasted. I mean, like, why? Like, you're not even growing. So a lot of people, when you start their career, they think that they're not growing. They're not, they're not moving up. But the truth is, like the Chinese bamboo tree, the first 5 years is your foundation time. You're spreading your roots so that, after 5 years, after 6 years, you can grow as tall as you want. So this is a very important message I want to share with all of you. So when you start your career, don't expect miracles. I a lot of people coming up to me after 1 year, hey, I mean, there's no growth here. I mean, this place is, not encouraging me to grow and blah, blah, blah. Any job, any career, the first 5 years is your learning phase, not your growing phase. You have to learn as much as possible, right? And the next 5 years, you implement your learning. And then you can move to strategy and, you can, probably move to the next level. But the first 5 years, so that's why, like, first 5 years, so when I started my career, I did my post-graduation in management and things like that. But when I started, I realized almost 90% of the things which I was doing were not taught in my school, in my college, including Microsoft Excel. And I didn't know how to do a VLOOKUP. I didn't know mail merge. I didn't know any of those things. So what I studied was very different, right? But what I was supposed to do was very different. So because I was not competent, I used to spend 12 hours almost every day, including Saturdays. And it paid me later, right? Now I don't, like, with respect to my official work, I don't spend more than 8 hours. But, the foundation was so strong because I invested a lot of time in learning a lot of things, right? So this is very important. So people change jobs, people change career, every 2 years, because thinking that, I'm not growing, I'm not getting enough salary. I mean, you are being paid for your learning. So, you will start contributing to the organization only after a couple of years, right? So that should be the attitude. So learn more to earn more, all right? And be a Picasso in your field. So these are my 3, main stories. So I just wrap up. The first thing is, have a burning desire, right? You need a strong purpose, a strong why to achieve your goal. The second thing is believe in yourself. Be a Roger Bannister. The third thing is be a Picasso in your field. People should get goosebumps, seeing your work, and that takes time. It really takes time. So invest in yourself. I'm glad that you are participating in this event because this kind of exposure, this kind of learning will change a lot of things inside. It'll give you a lot different outlook with respect to what's possible. Different streams of learning and things like that, which is very, very important. So invest in yourself. Okay, so with that, so let me conclude. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Wish you all the very best. So in case if you want to write to me, my email ID is srijit.krishnan@outlook.com. Yeah, thank you. And also you can visit my website, srijitkrishnan.com. You will see all my other social media handles. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Sunil.
Srijit,
Yes.
Thank you so much. That was right out of your heart. And what a way to set things rolling for this morning for us. Thank you, Srijit. Thanks for those wisdom shots. Lovely stories that connected with all of us. And I'm sure has left many of us transformed to understand ourselves better and change our attitudes for success. Learn to earn. I think that was a lovely way you put it. Thanks for being at YCC this morning and setting the tone for our day. From our hearts, thank you. And we'll surely look forward to seeing you contribute your voice and your wisdom, as always. And I encourage everybody to sign up to Srijit's Wisdom Shots on YouTube. Lovely stories, very engaging, and as always, very youthful. Thanks, Srijit. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you. I'm disconnecting. Thank you.